Alright guys, what is going on? Vitaly Dubin is here, founder of Bitcoin's Walls Club, and today I want to discuss Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies in our Today in Crypto show. It's been a couple of days, I had a couple of days with my family, and then I'm like helping my local people here in Israel. Lots of people coming here at my place, and I'm helping them explaining about Bitcoin and crypto and how it works and how they can really take advantage of this market. So it's been a couple of busy days, but today I have some interesting thoughts that I want to discuss with you. First, the whole situation with Bitcoin right now, where I'm seeing it going, the Bitcoin technical analysis, what's going on in the market and how it will affect in the immediate term, and also discuss some of the things happening on the macro level, so to speak, on a bigger scale of things, where we're seeing it going, which I do believe we are in a macro bull trend, with in more intermediate term a little bearish momentum, where like Bitcoin lost some of its momentum. And I do want to discuss the big scandal and all of this FUD and around Tether, USDT, the stable coin, and its Bitmex, and what's going on in this arena. Can Tether USDT potentially can collapse, and what repercussions it will have on the global crypto market? So let's start with Bitcoin and our analysis on Bitcoin. We're seeing slightly move down in the Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, and we did have a couple of very good weeks in Bitcoin. We caught on a bull trend, from February at the lowest point of $3,100 to reaching $5,600. This whole trend, this whole move started some positive bias and positive momentum, but we lost a little bit of momentum in the last couple of days. And this right here, on the 25th of April, we are seeing this drop in Bitcoin from 5,600 to below $5,000 shortly, which is a $600 move down. And this is primarily caused by the Tether FUD, the USDT, which we'll discuss in a bit, what's going on there. And we're kind of floundering here on very low volume in this area of $5,200. We're trading below the resistance zones of 52, 5,300, 5,500. We're trading below this box, and we lost some momentum right now. We did fell down on this rising wedge, so there's a pattern right here. We can draw down on a rising wedge over here, that we got lost down from there. And right now, because we lost some momentum and there is very low volume and trading, like we're not getting back up, we could see this as a bear flag, which we fell down and then consolidated a little bit and then another move down. Now this will be healthy, in my opinion, on a more global trend to pull back. Right now we're still trading pretty high on an RSI level, which measures the overbought to oversold conditions. So if we'll fall to like 4,800, 4,700, 4,600, it will not mean that the bull market is not on the macro level. It just mean a temporary retracement, like we did many times for Bitcoin. It got all the way down on the RSI, and then the next cycle continues. Okay, so this is, in my opinion, right now is a more likely scenario that what will happen with Bitcoin in the more intermediate term, with its lost momentum towards the upside. It will probably go lower on the shorter term and then go right back, and it will need to have some major force in order to break the $6,000 level, which eventually will happen, I believe, and will happen this year. But $6,000 is a massive resistance level for Bitcoin, as for many months in 2018 it couldn't break. It went back to $6,000, and previous support now becomes a very, very heavy resistance level. Okay, now we're discussing all of this in depth in our crypto trading millionaires coaching group every week. Now, I'm not a trader full time, not trading full time. I'm more, doing some swing trades. I'm looking at the markets. I want to see whether I want to hold in Bitcoin or I want to hold into dollars. Where what I want to hold in this current market, because obviously, if Bitcoin is on the rise, then you want to hold Bitcoin. If Bitcoin is going down, then you do want to hold US dollars, because this way you're going to basically preserve your US dollars, how much Bitcoin you have, how much it is worth, your crypto, and then you can buy it back in on the dips, buy it on the dips. Okay, so understanding the trends and kind of taking a look at the charts and understanding the charts a little bit, understanding some technical analysis could be very, very useful for you to preserve your capital and to make money on your capital. Okay, it's also useful if you are doing any kind of leverage, even for small leverage on Bitmex, for example, or 2 or 3x leverage, or maybe even 5x leverage, and you catch those falls on the rise. You can make money and make profits on the way up and on the way down. But looking at the more macro trend, we recently had a very extensive Medium post by Adam White, the COO of Bakkt, this platform, BAKKT, which is a huge deal, and is competing with the CME futures that are going to be launching very soon, Bitcoin futures, and he explained the whole system on how he's going to back up the Bitcoin future contracts, physically back it up, as opposed to what CME was doing with the futures contract. And it's a big deal there right now. Have some applications with the New York Department of Financial Services. They need to get some approvals, but this is a big deal for Bakkt to finally launch this year, which they've been working on this custody solutions for the last 2 years, according to what they claim. And they have a big reach. It's a company that owns New York Stock Exchange. I mean, it's a very, very, very big deal for the crypto space. So institutional interest is getting bigger. We are seeing the moves from big firms to provide solutions for institutional investors. Even Mike Novogratz, that he lost $272 million last year in his firm, Galaxy Digital. He bought another share of the firm with $5 million. He believes in Bitcoin, and long term they invest in a lot of different crypto projects. And 2018 was a very difficult year for crypto, at least for the majority of the projects. There are of course exceptions. There are some projects that absolutely boomed in 2018 and did over 100x in value, but not everything was the case like this for the majority of the crypto projects out there. What else do I want to really discuss is the whole Tether thing, and this is quite concerning because I'm using Tether and a lot of people use Tether, this stable coin USDT. If you go to Binance, it's a very, very popular pair, BTC USDT, and so is on many other exchanges. And why we are seeing right now such a huge difference when Bitcoin is about $5,500 on Bitfinex and only $5,200 on other exchanges like Coinbase. What's the deal? Why such a big disparity? And this has everything to do with the latest court order and this basically accusation and lawsuit that is happening for Bitfinex and their inability, their loss of $850 million that other partner that they don't give the money to Bitfinex. And could Bitfinex potentially go bankrupt? Now you need to understand that Bitfinex is the same people behind Bitfinex. They created Tether, this stable coin USDT. Now you have to price somehow, makes it easier for trade. A cryptocurrency that is pegged to dollars and is backed by dollar, physical dollar in the reserves. So it makes it easier to trade. But here's the issue with Tether is that Tether is tied to Bitfinex, and if Bitfinex lacks like $850 million from its partner that is not giving the money and that owes the money, and Tether itself is saying that, you know what, we are not having the full backup of all the funds basically in our reserves. We have a portion of the funds in loans and in other assets, and if those loans are not going to be returned, like when you give somebody a loan, they may return the loan and may also not return the loan, and you write it as an asset, but they don't give you the money. Now it's lost money when you give the loan. So Tether has a substantial chunk of its reserves as a loan to somebody else. And again, this puts everything into jeopardy, because as long as everybody believes that USDT equals to $1 and is backed by $1, then if the price of USDT falls below $1, then it will create some arbitrage opportunity for people. They will say, okay, I'll buy the coin cheaper for 85 cents, and I'll be able to sell it back to Tether because they back it up by dollar and get $1 for it, right? So as long as people believe that. But if people stop believing in Tether because Tether is connected to Bitfinex and Bitfinex is getting in trouble and say declares bankruptcy, which may happen, then people will not believe in Tether anymore, and they'll sell their Tether. And this is exactly what is happening right now in Bitfinex, and why there's such a big diversity in prices is because people want to get out of Tether, and they're willing to pay the premium price on their USD and get back into Bitcoin because they're afraid that they'll not be able to cash out their USD, their dollars, but they'll be able to cash out Bitcoin. Okay, so that's the deal. That's a sign. That's a pretty warning sign. According to Jeff Garzik, he's saying it's exit buying. To get out of an exchange, one must buy hard currency, Bitcoin, when fiat withdrawal method starts failing. The BTC price is therefore higher at dying exchanges. Can Bitfinex, one of the largest exchanges in the world that operates for many years now, can go down and collapse and exit and stop and declare bankruptcy? Can it happen? That's something that people are afraid. Okay, I personally think it's not quite as dramatic as they say, but it is a possibility. And if you do hold USDT, then know that you have some level of risk involved with that, because USDT may collapse at one point. And right now they're saying that $300 million worth of Tether printed in midst of Bitfinex allegations. Can you imagine that? I mean, that, guys, is a lot. It's a lot of money that is being printed out of thin air. Basically, what they're doing, around 800 million has been added to the market cap of Tether since the 1st of April, which has sent it to an all-time high of $2.84 billion for Tether. And they say it is due to demand from the Chinese people, from China, that are buying the USDT and then putting them into crypto in their way. But Tether added another $100 million to supply amidst Bitfinex controversy. That was 13 hours ago. The news, so they're like went from 2 billion coins to 2.8 billion coins. The question is, what is really backing up Tether? If they don't have everything as reserves that is backing that up, and it has partially loans and other assets that may not be able to redeem, people will lose trust in Tether. Now, I want to remind you that USDT is not the only option when it comes to stable coins. Like on Binance itself, it has PAX, it has True USD, it has USDS, it has USDC. So definitely USDT, the Tether, is not the only choice when it comes to holding a stable coin. Okay, you have all kinds of options, like BTC True USDT is $5,130. I'm not saying it's something that will happen very, very soon or very fast, but it is a possibility that you want to be aware of when it comes to holding USDT as a stable coin. If something happens with Bitfinex and they have lawsuit, then it will instantly translate into some problems and issues with Tether, with USDT, because the same people who are behind Bitfinex are also behind Tether USDT. So yeah, that's what I wanted to discuss. But again, there's many possibilities, many options out there. You don't have to use USDT as a stable coin. You can use other options in order to trade Bitcoin against other stable coin, and look at the markets and decide whether you want to hold a stable coin right now or you want to hold Bitcoin right now in the majority. And of course, if you have a diversified crypto portfolio and you hold at least 50% of your assets in Bitcoin, then you need to see where do you want to hold it, whether in stable coin or in Bitcoin, in order to not lose your capital, a portion of your capital, and instead gain some profits in this market. And that's what the charts are saying. That's why I want to keep plugged into the charts, understand a little bit of technical analysis and what's going on and what the probabilities are, because everything is a probability in the crypto space. Nothing is black and white, nothing is 100% certain in the space. Like people disagree all the time where it's going up or whether it's going down, but we are playing with probabilities, whether what's most likely to happen, if it's going down or if it's going up, at least in the in intermediate terms, in the next week. You need to see and decide for yourself what is the next move. Okay, so that's it for today's news. I want to wish you guys a fantastic week. We're going to have definitely a webinar tomorrow. I think we'll discuss some strategies, what you can do in the crypto market, how you can grow your wealth in Bitcoin, what are the best ways today that you can do that, and some very, very exciting stuff that I want to share with you. So stay tuned for our official webinars. And I'm very excited about the crypto space, about where we are going on a macro level for Bitcoin. It's going to be very amazing, very, very exciting times in the crypto space. And on a macro level, because of the adoption, how many people use Bitcoin, etc., like we are definitely on the right track for Bitcoin to continue its macro level move and back and above and beyond the previous all-time highs, and which I believe will pass at some point before summer 2020. Okay, so stay tuned, and I'll see you in the next live